Hey, good morning. Hello. Um, so it's Saturday morning, and I got a couple of quick things that I'd like to go over, and then I'll do the reading. So hope you're there. And today is the 6th, isn't it? The 6th of June, and we've been doing this reading for a little while. Good morning, Jason. Hey, buddy. So we've been doing these readings for the last month or so, and I've been enjoying it. I really have. I have a short story. I just want to tell you a short story. I saw myself last night in somebody else. One of the guys that I work with in recovery had, there's a story in our lives that many men have bought into, and it's a story of the damsel in distress. And we get it really, really young. Like we're taught this story, in our childhood. The white knight who rides in on a big horse and saves the day, the damsel in distress, and it's deeply ingrained in us, and it can trump all kinds of agreements we have with, if say we're actually married to a beautiful lady, and there's somebody in distress, and we can break arrangements. We can do all kinds of things, thinking that it's our job to save the damsel in distress. And so, what are our motives? And I witnessed a situation where a man broke a whole bunch of agreements and maybe put himself even in danger. And at one time, we might have thought that was glamorous, right? The glamorous thing to do, to ride in and save this person. And he defended it. She was young, and I'm not talking about a child. I'm talking about a young woman in her 20s, I suspect. And he bought into this story that nobody else was going to look after her, and he had to do it, and put himself in a real tough spot. So I just watched that in me, how most of my life I bought into that scenario, that I have to be the guy that saves the damsel in distress. And hi there, Jennifer and Tracy and Santi. So that's the thing to watch for when that comes up in life. If people need my help, to look at what are my motives. Am I doing something out of conditioning? Am I really needed? Am I robbing that person of their opportunity to hit their bottom? Am I enabling? Just to stop and breathe. It's okay, what am I doing here? Am I really doing this for the person? Hi, good morning. Or am I doing it, for me? And to fulfill a story, a script that's been ingrained in my mind of the white knight, Sir Lancelot riding in to save the day. So that was it. I saw it happen, blatantly in somebody else's life in front of me, that put themselves in a position where they couldn't be trusted because they'd made other agreements and broke them. And it, so when a man is still in that conditioning, it's hard to trust him, because he might just drop everything. And we've been conditioned to do that, to just drop everything and rush in there and save the day, as if we know. We don't know shit what's right for other people. So anyway, good lesson for me. I mean, I've done it most of my life, and I only these last few years that I've recognized it and realized that it was part of my addiction, part of my beliefs about myself that I wasn't good enough, and I had to, always be doing this to be better, be more, and so yeah. I mean, there's things we can do with the right motives, and we can contribute, we can give back to society. There's lots we can do for sure, and that's it. Just a little story about the damsel in distress. We all play our parts in that one often, and so watch if you're, on the feminine side, if you're doing that, if that's a script, and sometimes we can go from trauma to trauma, from problem to problem, looking to get, as if that's part of our value, to be in a position so somebody can help us. So just recognize that it's sometimes we're in a script, we're in a story, and we just play it out, and we're always looking for somebody to come and take care of us. And so if we build this relationship with a higher power, though, it happens in the 12 steps. If we actually build this relationship with a higher power, there's a certainty that comes with that. There's a knowingness that comes with that. This, okay, I'm covered. I can surrender each day to God's will, and work within that in a beautiful way. And so I'm going to read this. I'm going to turn this light on here because it just shines down on the top of this a bit. This is this little book that I've been reading, 24-hour day book. And thanks for listening to my personal story. And it says, I haven't read this yet, so I'm always interested to see if what I'm going to read will have any connection to, what little thought or lesson that just came through. Alcoholism, it says, is usually a symptom of some underlying personality problem. Imagine. It's the way we alcoholics express our maladjustments to life. I believe, he says, I believe that I was a potential alcoholic from the start. Well, certainly I was, yes. I had an inferiority complex. Well, we just talked about that, didn't we? And how, often I remember sitting in school fantasizing about, if a light dropped out of the ceiling, how I would, on top of some young lady that I had a fancy for, that I would save the day. I remember fantasizing as a child, a little boy, of how I could be, the Superman. And that whole thing fits into it, doesn't it? Superman and all of that fits into that story, that we're not good enough, and we're all super people, aren't we? But so I had an inferiority complex. I didn't make friends easily. That was me as well. I know a lot of people, but it's sometimes I'm a little socially inept. There was a wall between me and other people, and I was lonely. I was not well adjusted to life. So a great little piece, the thought for the day. Did I drink to escape from myself? Of course I did. Of course I did. I remember, drinking as a teenager and a very young teenager, and I could fight and dance, and, I became this amazing man to me. I got superpowers when I drank. Superpowers, Isn't that crazy? And all because of a fantasy, a story, that I was supposed to be more. Wow. Here we go. Meditation of the day. He makes the print so small I have to have superpowers to read it. Still never found my glasses. I know. According to the varying needs of each person, so does each person think of God. It is not necessary that you think of God as others think of him, but it is necessary that you think of him as supplying what your personality needs, what you personally need. The weak need God's strength. The strong need God's tenderness. The tempted and fallen need God's saving grace. The righteous need God's pity for sinners. The lonely need God as a friend. The fighters for righteousness need a leader in God. You may think of God in any way you wish. Men usually do not turn to God until they need him. Nice. I love there's a story from the Christian teachings. It said Jesus said that only drowning men can see us, and that is basically what he's saying, that when in my life, when I was not well, when I didn't have I wasn't striving to live a God-centered life, I only turned to God when I was in trouble, and when things weren't working. So that's a beautiful piece, June the 6th. And prayer for the day, I pray that I may think of God as supplying my needs. And that's mine. My concept that I love in the 12-step book of Alcoholics Anonymous is God the employer. Just in the paragraph prior to the third step, it talks about we had a new employer, being all-powerful. He provided all our needs if we stayed close to him and performed his work well. And for me, staying close to him is meditation, prayer, constantly thinking, thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done. Remembering that I cannot run the show with my conditioning. My conditioning thinks I need to save the day. It's crazy. Nice to do nothing, isn't it? Just to be quiet. Just be quiet. I pray that I may think of God as supplying my needs. I pray that I will bring all my problems to him for help in meeting them. Isn't that beautiful? It is beautiful. So that's the 24-hour day book. I'm really enjoying reading it. I would like to mention that this Saturday, and hopefully Saturdays going forward, well, you guys know that I work part-time at a treatment center called Fresh Start. And they're doing, they have a raffle. It's a fundraiser, a raffle, and they're raffling off a Harley Davidson. And so we have set up a little tent and the Harley at a shop in town called Cane's. And so I'm going to be there today, contributing, doing my part to sell tickets, and we're also going to have the food truck there. Fresh Start has a food truck, so we're going to be there at Cane's all day. Come and see us. Drop in. So that's it. And you can buy a ticket. I'll also post on my page so you can buy them online if you want to. And what would you do with the new Harley Davidson? Last year, the guy I think that won it the year before actually just gave it back to Fresh Start, and it's kind of a double win. They sold it, and we'll be able to put that money in the work that they do, helping mostly men and families to in recovery from the story that we've sold ourselves. We call it an addiction, but it's a story of needing to be different or wanting to be different, and living a self-centered life as opposed to a God-centered life. So and Fresh Start does a great job of helping people in recovery. So that's it. Maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for listening. I love doing these readings in the morning, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye.